From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is Wake Up Weather.
Good Monday morning to you. I'm Kelly Rawson here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We are live at 6 a.m. and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about here in this weather update. I know you've seen all the buzz on social media of the potential for what could be coming to the Tennessee Valley here this weekend. Of course, I will address that, everything that we know so far, what we don't know so far, and what we can potentially expect, at least at this point in the forecasting process. For us here in the Tennessee Valley, all you need to know right off the bat is we need to start paying attention to this weekend's forecast. And of course, if you're tuning in this morning, you are doing the absolute most perfect and correct thing by getting informed. Of course, today is Monday. It is a holiday for a lot of us, and for some of us, it is just another Monday. Getting up and at it early this morning, like you know the drill, every morning at 6 a.m. we are going to go through right now, and we are going to go through the next few days before we get to that bigger picture and that main story heading into the weekend. But of course, grab your caffeine, make sure it is hot caffeine, because we're going to be here for a while to discuss everything that you can expect here in the Tennessee Valley for the week ahead, including this weekend. But like I said, let's go ahead and get started with what is going on right now out there. And it is cold out there on this Monday morning. Temperatures are in the 20s for most of us, but those cold spots that are the typical cold spots in southern middle Tennessee are in the teens this morning. Pulaski checking in at 19 degrees this morning, as well as Hohenwald. Everybody else in those low to mid 20s. So you're going to need to layer up no matter where you are. Down into North Alabama, Northeast Mississippi, we're talking low to mid 20s. Everyone well below freezing. We do have just a light breeze out of the north, but the good news is the wind is not howling too much, gusts just up to about 10 miles an hour. So not too much of a wind chill, but really that's not needed because no matter what, it is cold. So be sure to bundle up and layer up. A cold day, a cold afternoon is also in store, so keep that in mind. But the good news, no precip to worry about for at least the first half of the week. More on that, of course, here in just a moment. But looking at our Arctic Air Heating and Air Conditioning Skycam network on this Monday morning just before sunrise, we're looking at a clear sky. Again, those temperatures very cold in the low to mid 20s here in Lawrenceburg. We have a light breeze blowing about 5 miles an hour. Dew point sitting at 14 degrees at this time. Florence, again, just starting to get those first few peaks of sunshine this morning, but it is a cold start to the day. Temperatures again in the 20s. We just bumped up to 28 over into Florence, overlooking Lauderdale County and Colbert County. A light wind blowing about 4 miles an hour at this time. Dew point at 70 degrees. So still some pretty dry and stable air in place, and we are going to stay nice and calm, at least precip wise, for the next few days, which is certainly some good news to get us prepared for the end of the week. We will see some cloud cover from time to time. We'll call it a nice mixture of sunshine and clouds. A partly cloudy day is in store. Temperatures, I think we're going to get a little bit warmer than what Futurecast is showing. I'm thinking mid to upper 30s for southern middle Tennessee, and then upper 30s to lower 40s by the afternoon for North Alabama and Northeast Mississippi. Again, thanks to those few peaks of sunshine. We will have a wind, though, out of the north blowing about 8 to 12 miles an hour, again keeping us on the colder side for today. And then for tonight, again, some more clouds still just kind of flowing in and out. Temperatures getting back down into the mid to upper teens overnight, so a very cold overnight in store. Once again, even a few degrees colder than it is right now. We're going to see those clouds clear out, waking up to a nice and clear sky on Tuesday. But guess what? Tuesday also remains nice and rain-free. Temperatures warming up to about and a little bit warmer than what we're going to see this afternoon, but still on the colder side for your Tuesday. We're talking upper 30s to lower 40s once again for those high temperatures. So let's go ahead and play through the next few days. Now, have no fear on this regional Futurecast model. Any sort of wintry precip should stay north of us for Wednesday. I'm thinking we see just some scattered showers by Wednesday morning into the afternoon. Maybe a sleet pellet mixed in, but that's pretty much all that we're talking about in any terms of wintry weather for the middle of the week. Again, mostly just some scattered rainfall moving. We should be above freezing as that moisture moves in. We will see that moisture linger for your Wednesday night into Thursday as well in the form of scattered rain showers. So you will need the rain gear for the middle of the week, both Wednesday and Thursday. And then, of course, heading into Friday and the rest of the weekend. Not quite ready to show you guys that here yet on Futurecast, but this is kind of a setup of what is to come. Again, still relatively calm for the first half of Friday, but you see off to our west that storm system that we have been watching and going to track heading over the next few days for us here in the Tennessee Valley. Of course, we're going to talk about what we can expect, what we know so far here right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'll be sure to step off this graphic because here is just a little peek into how we forecast and how we communicate weather information, specifically with winter weather forecasting. If you're wondering where we are on this timeline, we are anywhere between the 4 to 5 days out time frame range for any sort of potential wintry system this weekend. So we have been recognizing the pattern over the last few days. The pattern looks to be favorable for winter weather. So answering that question right off the bat. Now in that 5 to 7 days out range, we're watching the large scale trends. We're seeing if the trend is looking more favorable, if it's looking less favorable. Right now, things are staying consistent with the signal, so that gives us a little bit more assurance and more confidence, but again, not enough confidence to communicate a little bit more specific details. So again, we'll be reaching that 4-day out period later on this afternoon and this evening when Chief Meteorologist Fred Gossage is in later on. And that's when we'll be able to get even a little bit more specific. Any sort of timing, a little bit more specific type of impacts and specific type of precip, because with a winter storm does not only necessarily mean snow. So we do want to communicate that right off the bat. So that is what you can expect for the rest of today and for this evening in terms of our forecasting and our communication. Anything closer to that 0 to 2 days out, again, that's going to come a little bit later in the week, but surely you will be able to get that information here at the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. So from that, what can I tell you? So yes, what we are watching is the potential for a wintry storm. And I'm calling it a wintry storm because, like I said, a lot of people, if they say winter storm, their minds go right to snow. That may not be the only wintry type precip that we are dealing with heading into Friday night and into Saturday. And when I say Friday night, that looks to be the earliest time for those impacts, as I highlight here on our third point. Again, impacts as early as Friday night. Looks like Saturday is going to be the main problem day, but of course, we'll be able to get a little bit more specific with that timing here over the next coming days. So right now, like I said, we are watching the data trends very closely. We'll also be watching temperatures very closely, not only here at the surface, but also higher up in the atmosphere, because with winter weather forecasting, a degree or two, not only at the surface, but upstairs in the atmosphere can play a huge role at the impacts that we see and the type of precipitation that falls. Again, that will affect the potential impacts. Just a little bit too early to get a little bit more specific, but like I said, we are watching for a pretty consistent signal for the potential for a wintry storm here in the Tennessee Valley. So that is what we know at this point. That is also what we don't know quite yet at this point. So what do you need to know and what do you need to do? What you need to do is just continue to check back to the forecast. Right now is not the time to take action, but right now is the time to stay informed and make sure family, friends, and loved ones are also informed, again, about the potential for an impactful wintry storm here in the Tennessee Valley this weekend. Like I said, we will get more specific with the coming days, even this evening as Fred Gossage comes in. He will be able to be a little bit more specific as we reach that day 4 time frame on that graphic that I showed you. But going back to the general forecast, we are looking at temperatures eventually going to be warming up towards the middle of the week. We're talking upper 30s to lower 40s for those afternoon temperatures today and tomorrow, and then upper 40s to lower 50s Wednesday and Thursday. But again, that's paired with rain chances, so while it won't be feeling as cold out there, it's still not going to be the greatest of days because we are going to have those rain showers around. Rain gear needed Wednesday and Thursday, and then again, we'll be watching temperatures very closely Friday, then into Saturday and even into Sunday as well, because it looks like we are going to be very cold on the backside of any sort of potentially winter system. So again, we're going to be watching these trends very carefully, but for the rest of today, hey, you have nothing to worry about but the cold air. Temperatures only reaching the mid to upper 30s for today. Again, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, but no rain and no precip expected for today. So we're off to a calm start. So again, nothing to worry about for today or even for tomorrow. We'll see a mostly sunny sky for your Tuesday. Again, temperatures around the same Tuesday afternoon. We're talking lower 40s out there, and then warmer Wednesday and Thursday. But again, that's paired with rain chances and rain moving into the Tennessee Valley. Again, I do think Wednesday should fall as all rain, but of course we'll watch for some sleet pellets, but no impacts expected there. Just needing the rain gear Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday. All eyes will be on that wintry system to our west, and we will watch for, again, potential first impacts as early as Friday night. But like I said, we'll be able to get a little bit more specific with those details in the coming days and even later on this evening. But again, we just want to bring to your attention the potential for an impactful wintry system here in the Tennessee Valley Friday night into Saturday. So again, now is not the time to necessarily take action, but now's the time to be thinking about what action you may take. Again, for the potential for some impactful wintry weather this weekend. Let's look at your local weather forecast for this morning. Taylor Plott will be in live at noon with more details on the potential wintry system, and Fred Gossage will be in, and he will be live at 5 with a little bit more specific details of what we can expect Friday night into Saturday here in the Tennessee Valley. Stay warm out there this morning.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.